Hey guys, Jonah here, back with a beer review and one of the two last beers from the Nomadic Brewers magazine. And well, that's not strictly true because I actually got some of the other beers from this one in my Easter beer box. So I'm going to have those next, and they're the reasonably strong ones, which is cool. Well, it's cool for me anyway. Um, Nothing about the brewery in the magazine. Now, I checked the magazine. They've only got articles for two breweries. So I'm not sure what's going on. We shall keep an eye on this. I'm not going to keep saying the same thing over and over and over. And yeah, Beer 52 don't really listen to anything I say. Or they don't comment on it anyway. In fact, I did get someone one time make contact, and you know who you are, and thank you very much. It was very kind what you were saying. But yeah, the magazine, something weird. It's turning into a bit of a kind of yeah Ponzi kind of magazine, and yeah, it's I would not pay £8 for that magazine. Put it that way. I get it because it's in my box um, with the beers, but if ever they started saying, "Oh, you have to pay extra for the magazine," then yes, the answer would be no. I'm very happy with looking at beers online and looking at what everyone has said, not just one beer writer who has swallowed a thesaurus, shall we say. Anyway, enough said. This is the Yeastie Boys American Porter, and it's called the PKB Remix 2025, which is pretty cool. Yeastie Boys originally started out in Australia, New Zealand. Um, it says fresh and hoppy, rich and black, an American hop twist on the mind-bendingly tasty New Zealand original. And I looked at this and I thought, I recognise that can, but I think the one I had was like a black IPA, and this is meant to be a porter. The hops in this bad boy. What else does it say on the side of the can? Easter berries, blah blah blah. So it says imported into the UK, brewed in the EU. So apparently, although Yeastie Boys are a cuckoo brewery, they don't have a brewery as such. They do brewing on occasion in the UK. This one says the EU, so I think it's another one of those Beer 52 kind of mashups, shall we say, with a brewer. Beer 52 is basically turned into like a distributor, really, for their own beers. But I don't mind that too much. There we go. So we got barley, hops, yeast. Have we got any? No, we've got no oats in there, which is unusual for a darker beer. ABV is 6%, which is cool with me. And as I open this bad boy, the hops are Mandarina Bavaria, Amarillo, Centennial, my favourite hop of all time, Magnum, no doubt for the bittering, Simcoe and Citra. Jesus, this is going to be a hop fest. Any explosion? No, that's good. Oh, my glass, I'm staring, it's over there. Let us see. So I reckon this is going to be a porter in the kind of black IPA style, if that makes any sense. And I did have this in the fridge earlier on, but I took it out of the fridge and then I fell asleep. So I was going to do a review and then I fell asleep, dear viewer. Wow, look at that. Not quite 2 fingers. That's, yeah, 1.5 fingers. Lovely coloured cream. I've been getting a lot of these creamy heads. Obviously, this is a carbon dioxide head. It looks from afar, you might say, oh, that looks a bit like a Guinnessy type head. But when you zoom in, there are some big carbon dioxide bubbles. There's also some very small ones. You see them forming at the bottom there. Very, very small bubbles too. Carbon dioxide is a weird gas, especially when it comes to brewing. If you've ever seen a beer in the fermentation vessel, he says, you'll know that the Krausen can have these huge bubbles in it, which I like. I like a natural kind of thing. That's why I like beer so much. Interesting. So it is quite sweet on the nose, quite malty, but obviously there's hops there. At the moment, I'm kind of thinking combination of Centennial and the Simcoe there. So I'm getting the orange, but I'm also getting that Simcoe-y type thing, which, if you know me by now, dear viewer, I would say it's that kind of cherry, kind of American style bubblegum type thing. And the French used to do a version too. And you'd unwrap your bubble gum and it would have a little cartoon on the paper, which I always thought was fantastic. If you ate enough, you could kind of build your own comic with just the papers from bubblegum wrappers. That's a fantastic idea. If you are new to the channel, think about subscribing. Really does help me out. Click like, all that good stuff that the YouTube gods like. And leave me a comment down below. What do you think of the Yeastie Boys? Um, Cheers. Okay, this is interesting. Very interesting. So up front, there's more malt than anything else. But secondary, it descends into a bit of hoppage. Obviously, there's so many hops in here, that's ridiculous. But the hops do not overpower this beer. And although it started off a little bit sweet and I was getting some sweetness on the nose, the hop bitterness does kind of kick in. But it's not a hop bomb. It is not. Interestingly, this is not a black IPA, which is what I thought it would be, and that's what I've had from Yeastie Boys before. Really hop forward kind of beer. This one is a lot more mellow. They have called it an American porter. That's weird because I suppose it's because it's so dark. Um, I might have said an American brown ale, which is more a traditional style, but it is pretty black. I mean, it's not fully black, it's really dark brown. Oh, pardon me, dark conker, shall we say, as opposed to jet black. Um, hmm, yeah, really interesting sweetness. It's that carameliness up front. So maybe the malts are playing by leaving a quite a residual sweetness. For a 6% beer to finish that sweet is kind of unusual. Maybe it would have been 6.5. It was drier, something like that. But it's really nice. Not so roasted. It's quite sweet, sort of dark malt flavour. And then the hops in there are just there to kind of fill in the gaps. There is a citrus orange kind of dominant hop, but it's not full on. It's not in your face. And then the other hops are there in the background too. I suppose the Mandarina Bavaria is also playing to that kind of orange citrus. Um, yeah, I hadn't thought of that initially. So it's not just the Simcoe. It's Simcoe, isn't it? Simcoe, Mandarina Bavaria, and Amarillo. There we go. Trifecta of different types of orange citrusy type hops. But the Centennial is there. I was anytime I see a beer and I know it's got Centennial in it, or it says it does, my brain goes back to a time. It goes back to a very specific time, but that's because my best friend who started brewing in his later on in his life, because unfortunately he died um, very young, 45 he was when he died. But we had a discussion about Cascade versus Centennial, and I was on the Centennial side, obviously, um, and yeah, we were talking about how Centennial, one of the parent varieties, the lineage, if you like, was Cascade. So Cascade went into Centennial, and it's some people call it Super Cascade. Um, yeah, getting a bit emotional now talking about my best bud, my friend. Um, just ridiculously sad. Anyway, he would have liked this beer, I think. He was, to be honest, he was more into his West Coast style beers. He was really into hop forward beers, but I did get him to try some darker beers, and black IPAs were a thing. Obviously, not so much a thing these days, but I really do like a good black IPA, a good Cascadian dark ale, as the Americans call it. Not what this is, though. That is really interesting beer. That I liked a lot. And I actually like the Yeastie Boys. I think that is a cool beer. A PKB remix beer for 2025. American Porter. Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of hops in it, but it's not a superbly hoppy beer. It's definitely still a malt forward beer, I would say. But if you keep an open mind, you can always pick those hops out, can't you? And yeah, as I was thinking, more flavors are coming out. So those, yeah, that triple whammy of orange hops worked really well. I'm thinking orange hops in a dark beer. Yeah, that's like a chocolate orange kind of thing from Mr. Terry's Beer Cadbury's, of course. Other chocolate manufacturers are available for the upcoming Easter. This has been your loving Uncle Jonah. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will do my very, very best to be back with another beer review real soon.